So Gene is widely known. He's made some very bullish calls on Apple back in the day, even when, not even just back in the day, I remember there was some bad news about Apple a year or two ago, and like you'd be the guy on TV saying you believe the long-term story, and been proven right again and again. I guess one of the questions I would want to ask is that conviction you've had, like in Apple, when things do go negative against a company, like how do you sometimes keep it? Like I remember seeing like after the worst news Apple had a couple of years ago, you were on there and just telling the story. How do you keep that strong conviction like you've had?
It's maddening at times because you just get really beat down by investors because they are hyper focused on something that's negative. But at the end of the day, what we always wanted to do was be right. And the way we kept our conviction is we'd do research outside of maybe something that would happen in a given quarter. So we spend a lot of time in Asia talking to different constituents over there and understand how the products were evolving. We talked to consumers about what their interest level was, and so
in Asia, were you talking like to the vendors to Apple or like the consumers?
More the supplier side and understanding kind of how the suppliers viewed the world and potentially, just understanding just really broad tech themes that were going on with suppliers. So talking to those and understanding how all this can play together is super helpful for us to keep the conviction that, and it was never about the current quarter, it was never about the next quarter, it was always about structurally where this company was going. And I think as we put this mosaic together, it allowed us to kind of keep our confidence.
Yeah, one of our guests here that's going to meet you later, he was talking about how you became bullish on Apple before the iPhone even existed. It wasn't when it was the iPod, and everyone else was negative because they were saying the operating system, Microsoft, they control the desktop because they have the operating system. So all these people were bearish, but then you come out and turn bullish during, I think it was the iPod days. What was the initial thing that you saw that made you turn bullish first and on this company?
Well, I got lucky. Probably my most memorable Christmas gift was right after the iPod came out. I got that as a gift, and I remember I would go, and I didn't have a Mac at the time, and so I would. We had our publishing department at work had a Mac, and so you had to load the CDs on. There was no iTunes store. And so I went there and I would go, and it was the speeds to load a song on were pretty slow. And so you'd spend, let's say, 15 minutes. And I would go there at 10 o'clock at night. I'd set an alarm, download a CD, I'd take a nap, and then I would just kind of, I did this for a couple nights and realized this ain't working, I need to get a Mac. And so I went out and bought a Mac. And as I kind of explained that experience to Mike Olson, who now covers Apple at Piper, he defined it as the halo effect, and I give him credit coming up with that term, the halo effect. But basically what turned us on was this powerful experience with a mobile device transforming to what ultimately would pull a troubled Mac business up is what really got us excited, and then things progressed from there.
So who got you that iPod?
Mom and Dad.
Wow.
Can't thank them enough.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your story right there.
Yeah, that's the story. That's where it all started. But then what we would do is we would go out and we wanted to quantify the halo effect. And so we went out. This is really before iPods were really out there. So we'd go and stop people on the street, and I forget how many people it was. It was like a couple hundred people. But we would show them the iPod, and they had no idea what it was. And we'd ask, would that potentially influence your decision about buying a Mac? And we found out that, in fact, it would. Now, later on, Apple opened it up to allow the iPod to work on PCs too. But there was that period where it really had a profound impact.